Salutations, safety officers, Automatic here for Automatic Games. Thanks for joining me for this, perhaps my one and only settlement tour. Here we go. A little over a year ago, I started my YouTube channel with Fallout 4 videos. More specifically, I had 3 different series. The final one revolved around a character named Brian Wilkes. It was during that series that I first made mention of a gentleman named Ray. For all intents and purposes, my sole survivor and a firm ally of the Minutemen. Now, the Minutemen suffered a devastating defeat at the Battle of Spectacle Island against raiders. And it was after that loss that many of them came here to Vault 88 with Ray. His idea was that they seek respite here, they collect themselves, and they train. After a few years' time, they would reemerge from this vault and carve out a good portion of the Commonwealth to do with what they please. Recently, I thought I might do a series dedicated to whether or not Ray's vision for the future saw fruition. And I figured that before I embark on such a series, I should do a traditional settlement tour. And so here we are. Now, as you can see, the entranceway hasn't changed much from its default state. I've replaced the lockers, I've kept only the clean machinery, and I've put down new mats, cleaned up the clutter. Typically, there's a guard stationed here, Jack. But Jack must be on his patrol, because he's certainly not here. Now, we are focusing on a woman named Kelly Stafford. Herself a guard, she was posted out by the main vault door, but her shift has ended, and as the day comes to a close, she is going to start her rounds. And we are going to use her rounds as a means to explore Vault 88. Now, as you can see, she's wearing black body armor and a black helmet. This differs from, say, the guards at Vault 81, but it is loyal to Fallout 3's security outfits. And those are outfits that I preferred. Now, this atrium is very standard, something you'd expect to find in a Vault-Tec vault. In fact, it was inspired by Vault 101, as was the armor worn by our guards. Nothing extraordinary about this atrium. In fact, I don't think there's anything too extraordinary about this vault. I strove to make it lore-friendly, but keep in mind that when I cite lore-friendly, I'm also including my own personal story, which has been injected into this game. But I don't think any of it strays too far from the central story. So let's start by looking at hydroponics. Here, of course, we grow most of our food. And there's pipes. Pipes that I'd like people to think channel water. Thus, keeping faithful to the notion that this is an indoor grow operation, highly dependent on water, hence the name hydroponics, right? Now let's trek across the atrium to Clem's commissary. Now, Clem, of course, is a character that kind of comes with Vault 88, and we kept him on as the store manager at the commissary. The commissary has been well stocked in the past, but right now it is wanting for more supplies. Everything you're seeing on the shelves is display only. The bulk of his supplies are in those lockers. But yeah, we try to put some stuff on display, items purchasable with old world money, not caps. And yeah, that's, we're basically waiting for another supply run. There, of course, is the slot machine, a favorite form of entertainment for the residents here. In fact, that's a machine that Clem just absolutely adores. He's told us so pretty much every time you pass him in the hall. It's borderline annoying. There's Ray's wife to Kelly's left. You just try to steer clear of her. Here, of course, is the clinic. It's a modest clinic run by a woman named Dr. Katie Ross. And Dr. Ross, she, like I said, it's a modest clinic. She tends to the well-being of the residents here. When compared to, say, the clinic in Vault 81, it's relatively small. Vault 81's clinic, of course, has its own room for surgeries, and I think it's got a supply room as well. But I stand by the idea that that is the only area that Vault 81 trumps my Vault 88. We have more residential rooms in Vault 81, and we have more unique rooms. But again, nothing so strange or extraordinary that it would, knock someone on their ass. I really wanted to keep everything kind of modest. How many times can I say modest in this video? That'll be a game we'll play, but I'm conscious of it now, so I'm going to stop. So we're going to head downstairs and take a look at all the facilities we have down there. Afterwards, we'll head up to the second story and look at the residential areas in the overseer's area. Of course, Ray is the overseer. He's inspired by, say, like Ronald Reagan. That's in fact his name. It's we just call him Ray. Here is a very typical lavatory. In that, we're just using bathroom stalls, traditional bathroom stalls. Nothing special to see here. And these are the cleanest stalls I could get with the USO mod. Yeah, in fact, I would argue that they're not clean at all, but the buffs and the scrapes, they don't really show up as well with that color of a stall. So that's what we went with. That's what we got. Across the hall here, you have an exit zone. This, of course, is our secondary entrance and exit. It leads to the caves and also to our water filtration system. In fact, Kelly's supposed to go out there tomorrow morning, and perhaps we'll join her for that. Be advised, this may be a long video. Up here, we've got the cafeteria, which always, in these vaults, has the appearance of an old-school diner. In addition to a variety of beverage machinery, we've got the stove and a refrigerator. Everything's clean. Everything was in a good state when we found it, and we do our best to, to maintain upkeep. Now, this guy here, this is Stan. Stan and Kelly, they have a thing going on. They both know it's wrong, but it's much too strong to let it go. No, but they do have this kind of a secret love affair. It's not known why they don't make it public. I think Stan just wants to keep it under wraps. He's kind of a dick. Now here's one of our unique rooms that you won't find in every vault. It's a theater. It seats 24, and it has a rather small stage, a place where people can do their talent shows, comedy acts, plays, anything from, no large-scale production musicals, but Shakespeare and the like. And up top there, that's where Ray gives some of his addresses. We'll have a look at that area a little later. And Ray is known for his speeches. He has that talent, the capability to inspire his followers. Here we've got the classroom. The teacher's name is Miss Smith, and she pretty much is guiding these 5 students on their way toward adulthood. They've got several books there. They're on the bottom shelf. They've all got their Vault Tech lunch pails. There's a kickball in the corner. It was probably taken from them. Speaking of toys that were confiscated, on Miss Smith's desk, we've got a ball and some kind of badge that she took from students. The trick is, kids, don't bring your toys to school, because Miss Smith, she'll get right on that stuff. She'll get on that stuff. Sorry. Next, we're going to head over to the singles residential area. This is where Kelly's bed is, and she shares this room with 4 other individuals. These folks are all, as noted, single, and yeah, so they have a shared space. They are not all members of the Loyalty Corps. They have various jobs, but those people that have irreplaceable jobs, they actually get executive suites up on the 2nd floor. Kelly is kind of saddened that she doesn't qualify. Now, Captain Parsons just passed us, and there, of course, is another guard to our left and another one coming our way. The guards are pretty much what we call the Loyalty Corps. Now, this restricted area, it consists of the shooting range, the workshop, maintenance, and, of course, the reactor. We'll have a look at it in a little bit, but first, let's go into Jim's barber shop. And Jim is good at what he does. Then again, we don't have anything to compare his work to. Nonetheless, he does everyone's hair. And though it's called a barber shop, it's also a beauty salon and all of the above. And Jim himself, he's a well-liked individual, chews a lot of bubble gum. Now there's a little guard's desk with a telephone. All the guards like to keep in contact with the other security offices and, of course, with the overseer's office. Here we have the laundry room. Rather standard in terms of laundry rooms. In terms of laundry, we've got vault uniforms, sheets, towels, underwear in the hamper there. Plenty of Abraxo. And we have multi-purposes for the Abraxo, not just for laundry, but also to restore goods to their shiny state, because we do like everything to be clean down here. Now, these are the showers. Going back to that cleanliness issue, usually when you're making a settlement in Fallout 4, you like things to be rather dirty, but that obviously is not the case in a vault like this. Now, say you want something a little more comfortable than a shower, there we've got a bath. And this is a different kind of stall. Affords you a little more privacy. There we've got a shaving sink, some lockers, and we're out of here. So next, let's venture into that restricted zone. Being a member of the LC, Kelly has access to such a zone. And so do, of course, do the maintenance technicians and our Mr. Handy robot. I'd be remiss not to add that, obviously, the Overseer has access to this area as well. Occasionally, one of the children will sneak in here. I think they just like to venture into areas that they are told not to venture into. So here's maintenance, one of the 2 maintenance rooms at any rate. As you can see, 2 of our 3 maintenance workers sleep down here. They are maintenance-oriented 24 hours a day. And you can tell that one of them's been working on a Pip-Boy. There is a phone down here. And the reason for that is, those phones are connected to all the security offices and, of course, to the Overseer. But the reason maintenance has one is because of their close proximity to the reactor. Should anything go wrong with the reactor, they want to be able to call security or Ray himself. Now, this area complements the main reactor, but it also serves as an area to work on our Mr. Handy. And we haven't seen him yet, so I'm going to go ahead and summon him. And his name is Randy. That is inspired by the Mr. Handy in Fallout 3. Not that there was only one Mr. Handy, but Andy, I think it was, in Vault 101. And this particular Mr. Handy is as shiny as the day he was made. After all, nothing down here has really been exposed to the elements. Now, judging from that sign, you can tell that we're getting closer to the reactor, which is on our right. We're going to hang a left and head into the workshop. There are 2 beds here, but One of our workshop technicians passed away not too terribly long ago. Well, about a year and a half ago. And yeah, so one of those beds is actually vacant, available. Now, this area, they work more on circuitry, and there's Mr. Handy Fuel. So certainly they tend to Randy down here. Let's head into the reactor room. There, of course, is the reactor, one of two. The other one being in the vault entranceway. Now, as to that 24 is indicative of a head count, a manual head count, which we perform. As you may know, with Fallout 4 on console, there are times when not all of your settlers will show up. It doesn't mean they're away from the settlement, it just probably means there's too much going on. And 24 was our last head count, and frankly, that's pretty good. We've done a head count that produced a number as low as 19 in the past, which is enough to drive an overseer through the roof. Now, this is the shooting range. 3 different areas to fire from, each one aimed down an abandoned subway tunnel with a target down there at the end. Sometimes the target is hard to spot. We'll have Kelly take a shot at it, or 6 shots to be precise. But let's see how precise she is. Hit. Shit. Hit. 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 Damn. Okay, well, 4 out of 6 isn't too bad, but it should be better considering she is security. So, I recommend that Miss Stafford come down here again in the near future, and brush up on her shooting skills. She's going to go ahead and close that hatch. And down here in the shooting range is where we keep the ammunition, but we don't keep the guns down here. You have to get the guns from the armory. We like to keep the ammo and the weapon systems separate. That way we avoid any future problems like we've seen in the past. Oh yeah, in the past, one woman that lived in this vault, she killed another member of the vault, shot him to death. Of course, it had to do with a love affair. And she was exiled both by the council and by the overseer. She was condemned to live out the remainder of her days in the caves near this vault. However, in a recent check, our Loyalty Corps members discovered that she had indeed expired, which is altogether fitting because there was a large portion of the population that wanted her dead shortly after she committed her crime. Well, I guess Ray and the council just delayed that inevitable fate. So Kelly's going to head back upstairs. I should mention, when I talked about a supply run, we do have personnel that are above ground. Our Loyalty Corps is actually quite a large element. We have, 14, and then 4 more that are on duty down here. Plus our captain. So yeah, we've got 19 personnel. Looks like Stan's still in there. Damn. Kelly was hoping to meet up with Stan after her shift is up. Anyways, we have 2 squads worth of armed forces above ground, and their primary is to secure supplies, both for our commissary and anything that Ray might want, and of course, small arms. And so they go back and forth, to and fro. They do get furloughs back here at Vault 88, but they do spend a good portion of their time above ground. And they're not the only ones. We also have a hunter that went up above ground. He was, in fact, our first resident to seek permission to leave the vault, and he did so for a very good reason. But we'll get into that later. Let's first have a look at our lounge. And by looking at it, one might have the mistaken impression that our residents live in excess. They do not. Yes, there is some alcohol here. Yes, the decor is it's pleasing to the eye, but this is just a rare, I guess, a rare room in terms of a Vault-Tec build. But again, I don't think it's too extraordinary, and it's contrasted by this bunk room back here, which is really devoid of any excess decoration. One might tend to believe that this is a servant's quarters. It is not. In fact, we really don't have any servants, unless, of course, you're the overseer, and then I guess everyone's a servant to you, although Ray is quick to tell us that he, in fact, is our servant. So if we step out here, if we were to turn to the left, we would head up into the residential areas. But rather, we are going to go back into the atrium and enter the Overseer Zone. It is the second restricted area that we'll be entering. Of course, it's not restricted to the guards. Over there in the distance, you can see a small crowd gathered around that slot machine. They are both waiting their turns and spectating as another resident plays. So here we are, the Overseer's area. We're first going to, let's see, we'll turn to the right. And over here we've got a supply closet. This is where we keep, well, decorations for holidays and special events, such as our Christmas tree is in one of those crates. We've got Halloween decorations, etc. Now, over here, through this door, we've got a video camera. This, of course, is a theater. So we use this camera to film productions, but we also use it to record Ray's addresses to the population. It's put on holotape. That way, if we have elements out there on expeditions, they can get a copy of it and see the speech upon their return. Also, copies are given to basically anyone that is away from the vault at the time of the speech or address. This, of course, is where Ray gives such addresses. As you can see, he's very old school. Almost takes on the guise of a old world politician, one that is just dripping with patriotism, but in all truth, Ray is a very charismatic individual. So, this seems altogether fitting for our leader. Back here behind the curtain, we've got a soundboard and a video feed. Of course, nothing's being recorded right now, so the video feed just has that iconic "Please stand by." There we've got speakers. But yeah, that about does it for the theater. I guess you've seen both levels of it now. So Ray's agenda is often introduced to the population via those speeches. And as mentioned, since they are on holotape, we do have a record of every initiative that he has found it important to take in the past. So we do document our motives. Here we've got a poster for the Loyalty Corps. The Overseer needs you. Well, clearly, Kelly Stafford answered that call, and she's glad she did. She does enjoy what she does. And this is the main security office. Usually there's a guard posted here, but it seems like Bob must be on his patrol. Here we have extra armor, in case our armor is damaged or whatever, or if we hire on new members of the Loyalty Corps, we can outfit them from this room. Also, quite obviously, this security office acts as a buffer between the general population. Oh boy, that makes it sound like a prison. It's far from that. And the Overseer's office. That way we can protect the Overseer from people that might go berserk. Such as that woman, Sarah, that I referred to earlier. I don't think I mentioned her name, though. Nonetheless, as noted earlier, she is no longer a problem. Now, here we've got Vault-Tec power armor. It's a very interesting piece, but that's indeed what it is. It's not really used. It's just a conversation piece, and a hell of a decorative item. Here we've got Ray's preferred desk. Of course, he's got his traditional Overseer's desk, but this is the one that he sits at the most. You see, there's a ham radio there. That's so he can contact Uncle. He's also got a phone. Oh, Uncle. Yes, I guess I haven't mentioned Uncle. Well, I did in passing earlier. Uncle was that first resident that requested permission to go above ground. You see, he identified an issue with our food supply. Well, we weren't getting any protein. So he volunteered to go above ground and brave the radioactive conditions and do some hunting. And he's brought back meat and regularly does so. Now, this display case could have more of Ray's items in it, but it's not like Ray's dead, you know? He actually uses many of his items, so he just put the hat and gun in there. Oh, damn, here she comes.
Yes?
Yeah, when Sophia walks by, that is to say the overseer's wife, you'd best step aside and stand at attention, for fear that she'll want to strike up a conversation. She is, yeah, she's a bitch. What can I say? Now, here is where the council met 2 nights ago. The tables have not been rearranged since, and this is a typical setup for a council meeting. Otherwise, the tables can be set up in various positions depending on what holiday or event or bake sale or whatever we want to engage in. This is the armory, and it also serves as a barracks for 2 of our Loyalty Corps members. Those are the Jacksons. They are a married couple, and they have a young boy, Tim. He was down there in the classroom. And here, of course, is the armory proper. The door should have been shut, but I guess people got to get through the sleeping Jacksons to get to the armory. Our troops, quote unquote, are outfitted with combat rifles and 10mm pistols. And down there in that safe, there's frag grenades. But again, we try to keep all this stuff locked up. Now, of course, combat rifles are semi-automatic weapons. As for our expeditionary forces, the ones above ground, they utilize automatic combat rifles. No pun intended, I know that is my moniker. But yeah, they'd rather throw more lead than semi-auto. Seeing as the Jacksons are asleep, Stafford will go ahead and close the door there. And if you'll pardon me, I'm going to take a sip of my beverage. Oh yeah, Nuka Cola Quantum hits the spot. The thirst quencher. Now this is the nursery. We don't currently have any babies among our population. But a few years ago when we moved in, let's see, of those students you saw down in the classroom, 2 of them were toddlers, and 1 girl, she was an infant. So yes, this nursery was used, and there is always the chance that somebody else will give birth down here, and after Dr. Ross delivers the baby, we're going to need this place to help to nurture and raise that child. That's why it hasn't been changed up. It hasn't been gutted or anything. We'd best keep it. Now, we talked about the Jacksons. This is the Johnsons' room. And the Johnsons have a boy. You can probably tell that from the toys. It looks like the Johnsons are still up, still out there somewhere. Because there's no one to be seen here. Though they did leave some food on the table. But yeah, it appears that the Johnsons are keeping a late night. And as for the kids, a lot of times after class, they'll stay down there in the classroom and engage in tabletop role-playing games. It's stuff like that, those kind of luxuries that you get to enjoy when you spend your existence in a safe vault as opposed to on the surface. Now, that's Dr. Katie Ross, and then there's Lauren with her. They are, well, I hate to put it this way, but they are a token lesbian couple. And, yeah, Dr. Ross, she's got the alarm clock by her. She's obviously a professional. And so, too, is Lauren. Lauren dresses very skimpy, though. She works in hydroponics. She's boy, I hate to say this, but she is the largest member of our community, and yet she's also the one that wears the least clothing. Funny how often situations like that occur. And this is Pigpen's room. I shouldn't say that. Residents just call him Pigpen. It's really that he doesn't bathe regularly. He smells, and his wife is obviously still up and about. His wife Marcy. Yeah, his name's not Pigpen. In fact, no one even says that to his face. His real name's Percy. So yeah, that's Percy and Marcy's room. They both work in hydroponics. Marcy puts up with them. I don't know why. She's a cute girl, short blonde hair, and she puts up with his stank and his drinking and his attitude, which is hard to account for, but she does. God bless her. Speaking of God, we also have and he sleeps in the singles residence. We have a pastor here, which is unlike many vaults. In fact, the theater is used every Sunday as a chapel, and that was at Ray's urging. Anyways, that's a bit of an aside. Ray he wanted his followers to find God. He felt like there was an absence of organized religion in the Commonwealth, with the exception, of course, being in Diamond City. Now, if we had gone down those stairs, we would find ourselves down at the atrium entrance that is just next to the lounge. But we're not. We're going to head up to, I guess the third story. I misspoke earlier when I said Stan lived on the second story, or perhaps I just said that some of the executive suites were on the second story. They are, in fact, on the third story. The first belongs to Jim the barber. There's, as mentioned earlier, he loves his chewing gum, and there's evidence of that on his table there, and on his desk. Anyway, since Jim has already retired to his room, Kelly is going to go ahead and close the door for him. That's just part of her duty while she's on this last patrol. And another job that Ray has deemed irreplaceable is that of our physicist, where Dr. Ross looks after the well-being of our residents. Dr. Allen here, he looks after our reactor, and he's a robotics expert to boot. And his wife, Rebecca, she's not there either. Maybe she's with Marcy. Maybe they're both with the Johnsons. I don't know. But there's quite a few residents that haven't made their way to bed yet. You know, I bet a few of them are down there either watching or playing the slot machine. Well, here we have the workout room. Or the gym. I guess it's the gym, right? But it is more a workout room. Well, there's Marcy right there, and there's Rebecca, and I think that's Miss Smith, the teacher, over there beyond the treadmill. Yeah, it's pretty much a weightlifting room with a treadmill. Stay fit, stay focused. So that accounts for a few of them. Not the Johnsons, though. There's no telling where they are. And yeah, it's a gym, not a workout room. Really, those are kind of synonymous, though. And here is the third lavatory. You've got a shower there, and you've got some of these deluxe bathroom stalls, the ones that afford you the opportunity to take a bath. So those are cherished by the general population, well, by everybody but Pigpen Percy. Okay, her rounds have pretty much come to a close, so Kelly is going to shed this armor and make her way to Stan's room. Maybe he's in there. That'd be great if he was. You know, he kind of treats Kelly as a booty call, but she takes full advantage. Now, she met him through game night. You see, Stan, he's a very sociable man, and he hosts game night. Now, obviously, he has an executive suite, which is kind of odd because his job is that of a custodian. But, you know, his painting skills must be such that Ray thinks that his job is irreplaceable. Nobody can do it like he does. In terms of his sweeping and mopping, I'm sure anybody could do that. But he doesn't have the technical skill to be a maintenance man. You know, he doesn't work in the workshop, but he sweeps and mops a mean floor. And he sleeps in his skivvies. But yeah, what can I say? She likes him. Boy. Yeah, she likes him a lot, folks. Okay, she's enamored with him. Oh yeah, folks, here we go. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of sex in this video. I hope you don't mind. Perhaps that's what you tuned in for, and if so, you're about to get it. And so is Ray, it seems. And so is Kelly, it seems. Oh, and not Ray. Stan. That would be weird, because Ray's married, and Ray's the overseer, so... But yeah, here we go, folks. Yes... Wait, what? Oh, Ray, come on. He probably heard me say his name. Well, damn. It's the next morning, and Stan is just up and out of there, without so much as a bye or leave. And that is typically how he treats Kelly. Kind of sucks for her, but, you know, I mean, this is two consenting adults here. So, she knows what she's in for. She knows that the guy is an absolute dick. And maybe that's what she likes. Who knows? I don't want to explore that dynamic too much. I think we'll just move on. After all, it is morning, and she has to get to the water purifier. So she is going to make her way to the filtration system. And to do so, she's got to get to that exit zone. Now, in terms of the upcoming series and Ray's agenda for the future of this vault, for the immediate future, he wants to use his loyalty core in the following fashion. See, he's discovered the locations of vaults throughout the Commonwealth, and he wants to use his squads to investigate these vaults. 2 7-man squads will seek out these vaults, and they will infiltrate them. Of course, if the vaults are still occupied by residents, we will open up negotiations seeking an alliance. However, if they are occupied by hostiles, we're going to go in shooting. Our intent is to secure Vault Tech developed merchandise and bring it back here to the vault. If it's a dilapidated vault, and the merchandise, the assets are damaged or scuffed up or just plain old dirty, well, we'll lather it with some Abraxo, we'll get it cleaned up, and repurpose it. But that is our goal, to get more Vault Tech assets in our vault. And behind the scenes, we're going to use the FCOM mod to accomplish that. So we will be entering these vaults with 7-man squads, heavily armed. In a situation like Vault, 114, I could easily see one of our squads running roughshod over the occupants of that particular vault. On the other hand, Vault 75? I may be mistaken there. I could see us potentially taking casualties in such a conflict. Now, before anybody heads out this exit zone, they have to suit up in a hazmat suit. After all, there are areas of these caves that remain radioactive. And so Kelly's going to do just that. She's yet to put on her helmet, but she's going to close this door first. And get her helmet on here. I guess she should have done that before she opened up this door, but she probably knows the area and knows that there isn't necessarily radiation directly outside this vault door. So yeah, and then when people that venture outside this secondary door return, there is a anti-radiation arch in that little chamber that she just went through, so they can clean themselves up when they return. After all, we do not want radiation inside the vault, even if it is confined to a human being. In fact, Ray has made it clear that if anyone were to develop ghoulism, if that's a word or a diagnosis, they would be exiled to the caves, much like Sarah was some time ago. Now up there on the right, we're not going that way, but if you're familiar with this area, you know you could go straight down that tunnel and hang a right, and there's caves there. Well, that's where our cemetery is. And as noted earlier, the exiled woman murdered another resident, a man named Paul. Well, Paul is buried back there. Now, I also mentioned that, I don't know if I did actually, but we did lose another resident in an attack. You see, I do have the Mortal Settlers mod activated, so these settlers, they can all die, much like our squads that go above ground can perish. But we haven't been attacked in some time, and the last big attack that killed somebody was a super mutant attack, and we lost one of our maintenance workers. The point stands, we've got 2 dead former residents. They are buried over there in their headstones, but there's no sense in showing you folks that. Perhaps if we take more casualties in the future, we'll take a look at the cemetery. But here's where I'll close it out, folks. Yeah, she's just going to stand guard watching out for ghouls or super mutants and the like. Hey, speaking of likes, if you like this video, like this video. And if you are subscribed, I will talk to you soon, friends. Oh, hell, I'm going to go ahead and post up a link to the Brian Wilkes episode that featured Ray. That way, if you are so inclined, you can take a look. You can be consoled that it's not a 45-minute video. It's more a 10-minute video. Hey, thanks again for watching.